These are the 15 best free VRChat Game Worlds that are better than most of the official MetaQuest store games. So let's dive right into it. And starting off directly with number 1 is none other than Bullet Time Agent. Now this VR platformer has a full-on campaign mode that will take you over 8 hours to finish. And in it, you'll be dodging lasers and fighting off robots while you're also making use of your special device that can slow down time itself. And honestly, while this game is great to play with friends, you can also enjoy this solo without any problem. Just keep in mind though that the Quest version is split up into 3 different parts, while the PC version comes into one single world. But overall, this is by far one of the biggest and most detailed games that you can find in VRChat. And on number 2, we have Jet Ski Rush. And this is basically Mario Kart, but then on water. Because not only can you race in here against up to 16 other people, but on the tracks, you will also find your typical power-ups that you can use to take out your opponents. And on top of that, this game also includes some big options when it comes to customization, so that you can really tweak that jet ski to your own playstyle. And that is not even mentioning the many different environments, with one of them even being based on retro Sonic. But moving on, we got number 3, which is Instagip Tournament. And this is a battle royale free-for-all, which will have you quickly jump across the map while you're trying to avoid the incoming fire. Since in this game, only one hit will already give you that game over screen. But thanks to that, each session is also quite short, meaning that you can jump into it even if you just have a couple minutes to play. Although, if you first want to brush up on your skills, then you can also practice in here by playing against some bots first. But that gets us to number 4, which is Put Put Quest. And yes, as the name already implies, this is a mini golf simulator in VRChat that takes place in a medieval looking town. And the nice attention to detail is that each of the 18 holes that you will find here will have their own unique gimmicks to them. So it will also take you a couple of shots before you will get that perfect score. Although, while it is definitely a smaller game compared to something like Walkabout Mini Golf, this one is instead completely free and playable with your friends. But another must play we should talk about is number 5, known as Magic Heist. Because this is one of the best Unreal experiences that will have you travel to some of its beautiful locations, all while you're also trying to interact with your surroundings to progress through its story. But if you've been in VRChat for a while, then you might also know that this world is created by someone called Vince. And this developer is pretty well known for also having many other similar and stunning experiences for you to try out. So if you enjoyed this one, then you will also love some of their other worlds such as Mine Heist or Treasure Heist. But that also gets us to one of the most unique games on this entire list. And that is number 6, known as Magnetize. Because not only did this get an award for the best immersive world on all of VRChat, unlike most other worlds, this title you will really have to experience firsthand to truly understand how special it is. So without spoiling the narrative, this game is an immersive and interactive puzzle experience that will take you onto a surreal trip throughout. And the best tip for it is to just try out whatever comes to your mind while you're playing it, since often these impulsive interactions can lead to some of the most funny outcomes. And that same goes for number 7, which is Project Summer Flare. Now while at first, the gameplay might look like you're going on a nice stroll to a Japanese rural town, you will quickly notice that after taking in your calm surroundings and beautiful scenery, that this game will drop you into some full-on high-intensity action out of nowhere. So if you love a good story with some crazy twist, then make sure to check this one out. But if you're looking for something with a more chill vibe, then there is number 8, known as the Midnight Bar. Since in here, you'll be visiting the iconic cyberpunk hangout spot while you're trying to become the best bartender in town. And that means that you'll be mixing drinks from a big catalog of options, while you're also listening to the stories of your clients, which are often getting just a bit too many glasses to handle. But if you want something even better, then there is number 9, which is the Great Plateau from The Legend of Zelda's Breath of the Wild. And yes, this is the entire map ported into VR, while making it also fully accessible for VR controllers. So that means you can do things such as picking up items like swords, or even use your trusty tablet to check your surroundings, or entering shrines with it. But if you love the Zelda games in general, then it might also be worth it to check out the other games that got a port inside VRChat. Think about, for example, Ocarina of Time, and even the entire map of Majora's Mask. So no matter what your favorite Zelda game is, you will definitely find something here. And on number 10, we got Laserdome 2, which is the updated version of the original game that goes by the same name. But now, it has even better graphics and a big boost in performance. But if you haven't played it yet, this one is pretty much a laser game for virtual reality, but then with the extra of being able to use some power-ups or use some of its many cool customizable characters. Just don't forget though that when you're playing this, you will have to use your weapon with both hands to even be able to fire. Otherwise, you won't last very long in here at all. But before we get to the next 5 must-play VRChat games that you really don't want to miss, let's first have a quick word from the company that made this video possible. Because none other than CatVR, who are known for creating VR treadmills that look like they come straight out of Ready Player One, are once again taking virtual reality to the next level. Because while we are normally limited by the boundary system inside our VR experiences, it is CatVR that has created these VR treadmills that let you run and jump without any limitation. And since their most recent version, which is known as the C2 Plus Enhanced, is compatible with every VR headset that you can think of, it is also often considered as the dream upgrade for any VR user. And they even go so far that it has things like haptic feedback built into it, as well as a vehicle hub, which will make it feel even more realistic when you're racing on a track or flying through the sky. And as a cherry on top, you can also use the code VRelity for a whopping $130 off on your entire purchase. So for those who are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. And that gets us to number 11, which is JSR Festival. And this is a massive open world game based on none other than Jet Set Radio Future. But don't worry, if you haven't played the original yet, in here, you'll be able to grind and skate your way through its many challenges and time trials, while also having the option to take on some special stages once you're ready. But the cool thing is that the world itself also has lots of secrets and collectibles to find throughout it that can really have you sink in hours upon hours without even having seen it all yet. However, talking about some old school classics, we got number 12, which is Wii Sports. And yes, this is the big game from the Wii, but now fully playable from a first person's perspective. Although, just keep in mind though, that this one is still a work in progress, so the gameplay might feel a bit less polished than some of the other titles on this list. But either way, it is by far one of the most well-known games of them all. And number 13 is Bandits Barcade. Now the moment you walk in here, you will be greeted with a bunch of old school arcade cabinets and a big bar where you can get some pizza and drinks. But the special thing is that all the games that you see in here are actually playable. So that makes this a great hangout spot if you just want to wind down after a long day of work. But for a real mind-bending experience, we have none other than number 14, which is Ritual. And sadly, it is almost impossible to talk about this title without spoiling it at all. Although, it is good to know that the game itself is made by the creators behind the popular Organism World, which is actually one of the most highly rated VRChat Game Worlds ever. And while this one takes a lot of inspiration and elements from this game, it also has its own dark twist and stories to it. So definitely give this one a shot. But by far my favorite VRChat world of all is none other than Project Aincrad, because this is a full-on recreation of the Sword Art Online anime. And that means that you can explore some of its most famous locations, such as the Town of Beginnings, while you can also use its swiping down menu system and take on quests to defeat some monsters. But that is not all, because now that you know some of the best VRChat games, you will also need an awesome VRChat avatar and know the worlds where you can get these for free. So click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on that. And of course, stay awesome.